Ooh, she's quick on the record button. She didn't want to miss anything. I could not recommend to you enough. They're only doing it once a year, and they're getting so busy now that they might only do it next year. I tell you what, I would put it on your calendar. Come to the Padgett Bootcamp with me next year. It's just the most phenomenal experience. So I can't recommend it enough. I know Joanne flew in one year. We were just talking about it. She and Donna Imsweiler flew in, and then we drove down from my house. I don't see anybody else on here today. I've taken a lot of different people, but it's really good. Wow, did it fill my cup. So, and I made it through my presentation, and it was awesome. It was so good. I don't know why I got so nervous. I bet I had, no exaggeration, at least 30 people come up and tell me that was their favorite present. A lot of them said it was their favorite presentation they've ever seen in their lives. They talked about, you finally were transparent and talked about stuff that, people really wanted to talk about, and it was so well received. My inbox today is just full from all these NMDs, like, I need your forms, I want your sheets. So
I will get those ready. I thought about that over the weekend, because they're made specifically for our team.
That's what I told him. I said, you got to wait. My graphic genius, Jake Durr, is going to change this up so it's generic. But it was really phenomenal. And wait till you guys, I'm going to put this out as a training. Wait till you see the PowerPoint that Jake put on there, because there's so many of you in this PowerPoint. The way she wove it all in was really remarkable. So really fun. Okay, I was naughty. I will tell you one thing, and I can't even remember. I have a guy recorded it, so I'm going to have to get the recording from him, because it just came out, and I don't remember how or whatever. But you know how sometimes things just come out of my mouth, and then they were supposed to be in my head, but they came out of my mouth. Oh my gosh! So that happens in front of 300 people. So we were talking about something, and because I said something about, or otherwise you can just play with yourself. And then out of my mouth says, oh, well, that's not, that didn't really sound right. And I said, but it's okay, you do you. And the room erupted. It was so funny. You'd have to be there. And so even Kevin Salser came up to me later, and he says, oh my gosh, that was hilarious the way it came out. Was that in your script, or did that just came out? I said, I don't even remember where in the presentation it came out. He says, well, you got to figure it out, because you should do that again. It was so funny. So I know I can't really explain it from here, because I don't even remember how it tied into the text or what it did. But anyway, it was a good funny. So just know you're all going to be stars, because your faces are all over that PowerPoint. And then what was really cool, I was the last one before lunch, and the last slide ends. It's just my team all over, and you'll see the way Jake had interspersed everybody. And we came back from lunch, and people had eaten lunch in there because it's cold. And everybody's in those black and red shirts. So just wait, next time we go to a big conference, we got to make sure everybody has those shirts, but you're going to be very noticed. So very, very fun. But what I want to share with you today is the trainings were phenomenal. And obviously each trainer trained for 45 minutes to an hour. And, we have less than an hour here to chat, but I hope you have your pens and papers out, because there are some things that hopefully, be better if you had all the stories and everything linked behind this. But if you get a little nugget out of today that helps you go and pushes you on to do, your 15-minute blocks and goes through your mind, I think we are in just the best time to be part of Juice Plus. It's so cool. And I'm going to invite Rachel Smart to do, she did the most phenomenal Prevention Plus, and the way she tied in some of the stories and stuff to go along with all the research and broke it down. It was incredible. So her talk was almost an hour, but it just flew by. It was absolutely amazing. So I will ask her to do that for our team. And that's something we'll have to talk about. You're going to want to build really big for that, because I just can't believe anybody would listen to what Rachel had to say and not want to get started on Juice Plus. It truly was incredible. So look forward to that. She's very interested. We're teamed up. We slept together the whole weekend in a little queen bed. So it was really cool.
You do you.
Yeah, you do you. But we sat there one night and we were just talking in bed before we went to sleep. And Rachel woke up. And if you don't know, her backstory is about 8 years ago, she lost her husband to cancer. Also, and I said, God, Rachel, it's just like you're a couple steps ahead of me all the time in life. And so we had so much in common, but we woke up after we actually fell asleep talking to each other. Like all of a sudden it was just quiet. And she woke up and she says, don't you miss those feelings? It's just, you get in bed and you have that person to talk to. She says, that was so nice just to have somebody to chat with, as I fell asleep. And it was like, oh yes, I know that feeling. So the whole weekend was just such a blessing that way. It was really amazing. Okay, so you got your pencils ready? First, I'm going to tell you about Lisa Radesi. And I stayed in the big house. And if you remember from conference, they had the power couple panel, and they had Beverly and Johnny Grandison and Craig and Lisa Radisi, and then Victoria and Patrick, the young couple. All of them were there. For this weekend, and staying in the big house. I did stay with Victoria and Patrick, and Lisa was there with her future daughter-in-law. So it was really special. But she kicked it off just talking about it all really comes down to initiative and perseverance, and that's what we have to have, is that initiative and perseverance. And she said, always be asking yourself, like, why are you here in the Juice Plus company? Why do you want to do this? Because a lot of us have been in this company for a long time. And so a lot of what I'm going to talk about today was a really good wake-up call for me, because I feel like we've kind of lost those whys. We had big whys in the beginning, and then we just become complacent. And sometimes we even forget how good we have it, and all the things that are amazing. So she says that she could never forget when she was talking with Dr. Bill Sears, that he says, if you find something that helps you, you just naturally share it with others, right? And if we just start realizing that we have all found something that has helped us, the Juice Plus products and the Juice Plus business. And so wouldn't we naturally just share that with others? And she says, when she meets with people, or they're brand new, and she's asking them, what do they want from their business, that she'll find that she has so many people that will come into her business. And this might be you, and you don't really have a dollar amount. She said she was like this. She said her sponsor just kept wanting like a dollar amount, like, how much do you want to make? And she thought, I couldn't come up with a dollar amount. It just wasn't me at that time. So finally she said, I just kept telling her, I just want to help people. And so she said, okay, how many people do you want to help? And I thought, isn't that interesting if we always start thinking, how many people do we want to help? And we know the best thing we can do is get them started on Juice Plus. That's going to make the biggest change in their body. So if you are like Lisa and you're not connecting to money for one reason or another, and you're here because you're mission minded, think of that. How many people do you want to help each month, each week? And when do you want to do it by? You can say, I want to help people, but what? You're going to help people eventually in the next 10 years? Or, what's your timeline for that? You can still create a goal around that. And then what are you willing to do to achieve that goal? Whether it's an income goal or helping people, what are you choosing to do? And then she also asks people when she signs them up, are you willing to host an event? So a lot of our events are on Zoom, but it can be in your home, in an office, you know, whatever. But she said, help them into that right away. So you right away getting the bigger story and not just saying, okay, go look on Freedom Revolution. Good luck to you. Bye-bye. Let's get to the next step. And number 2, she says, build your belief. You don't need to come with it, but you must grow it. You must grow your belief. And she said, John Blair says, you don't need to know more. You need to care more. And we talked about that even in my presentation. Don't get so hung up on trying to learn everything. Just care about people. Number 3 she had was follow the system. The whole system is on the Freedom Revolution. It's like a library. You can go in there and read as much or, you know, as little as you want. You can go as fast or slow as you want through that library of information. But she says your new person should always be directed to the Getting Started tab and let them just start there and go place by place. And each of us who has not been there within the last week or 2 need to go through and see what's on there too. Number 4 was have conversations. And she said, track them. Make sure it's a series of seriously good conversations. It doesn't matter if you have a whole bunch of conversations, if you don't go back and have more conversations with that same person and to track those so that you're building on those conversations. So it's going to end up in the long run of being quality, right? Not quantity. It'll be the quality of deepening those relationships, kind of using that ditch the pitch. And number 5, she says, have fun and start really thinking, what do you like to do? What do you think other people like to do? So if you're in a knitting group and you love to knit, then get people all together where you're knitting scarves or whatever, but then you can say, hey, I bring all of us together, you know, because I thought you might also want to learn about this. And this is a great time to bring one other person in where you can just share stories. So keep it so simple, like show one of those new Bridging the Gap videos. There's a 4-minute version and like a, 11-minute version. They're the brand new ones, but watch that, share your story and have somebody else share the story. Like it doesn't have to be this huge presentation. It's bring people together over what is fun. Maybe fun to you is just having people together over a bonfire and making some s'mores or something, right? It can be whatever is fun for you. So you don't have to, if you love making smoothies and balls, make smoothies and balls, but you don't have to. It can be your thing of what you like, because she says you need to have fun in your business. And she says your assignment is commit to hosting an event this year, any kind of event. It might be 2 friends coming over to your house to have tea and just having some girl talk, right? So you don't have to feel like, okay, I will caution you though, if you only invite 2 girls over to have tea with you, there's a good chance one or both will end up canceling because people are just flaky. It's just true. So I would shoot for filling, let's say you're going to sit around your dinette table. I would shoot for filling the table so that at the end you do have at least 2 people would be great. But even if you have 1, you know, that's okay. And if they all come, great. You have 5 or 4 or however many fit around your table. She said, number 6, get a buddy. She says, don't you want to know what will happen if you don't give up? She says, we already know what giving up feels like. Don't you want to see what it happens when you don't give up? And I love that. We already know what it feels like to give up. What does it feel like not to give up? And I just want to share my screen really quickly because this came out today with John Maxwell. And I thought, wow, that's so perfect. Y'all see my screen, right? Okay.
Hi, John Maxwell here. Welcome to Minute with Maxwell. Of course, we are still continuing to talk about statements of strength to help you and myself and all of us through this very difficult time in our lives. And today I'm going to read a statement from Joyce Meyer, my wonderful friend. She said, "You will never see the end if you give up in the middle." So simple, so true. You see, no one ever quit their way to success. That just doesn't happen. In fact, when I was a very young leader, I was greatly influenced by a mentor who pretty much taught tenacity and making sure you see everything through to the end. And I remember one day, now this is before all the wonderful technical things we have in life now, that's when we still had books that were dictionaries. I took my dictionary book off the shelf and I went to the word quit and I took my pair of scissors and I literally cut it out of my dictionary. And I said to myself, it's not in my dictionary, it's not in my life. Well, Joyce is just basically saying, if you quit in the middle, you've gone halfway, but it doesn't really matter. You'll never see the end. Just recently, I was in Israel with a group of leaders and friends. And so we decided to climb Masada. I've done that before. I've gone up and down in the very same day. But now that I'm 73, I wasn't really sure that I could do it, but I thought I'd give it a shot. And so off we went. Mark Cole was with me. We got up about halfway and he could tell I was kind of getting pretty worn out and tired. And he said, "John, just look back and then look up." And I did. He said, "You're halfway." He said, you don't want to stop now. You really don't. You're halfway there." He was right. And I'm going to say to you, in the middle of a crisis, don't give up. Keep the faith. Don't stop. You'll never see the end. Thanks for being with me today on Minute with Maxwell.
Oops. I pushed the wrong button. Are we back? That's good, huh? Okay, I'm almost to our list of 10. So that was number 7, master your schedule. Be thinking about what hours and days are you open for business? Are you open for business? Number 8, she talked about how fear, doubt, and insecurity are all about you. So if you truly want to help somebody, even though you might still feel those, like a lot of you knew I was having that fear, doubt, and insecurity to speak at this boot camp because I didn't feel on the level at all of the other people presenting. But now that I've done it and I saw how many people it affected and impacted in a positive way, I had so many visions of canceling. You heard my story on that before. I wanted to cancel because I just kept feeling it wasn't going to be good enough. I had reasons, I had this, I had that, but I didn't. And it made me think when she talked about this right away. And it's the same thing. We think, I don't want to follow up with that person, or or they think I'm selling them something or whatever. No, you're caring. Okay, you're going to push that aside, those fears and insecurity and doubt, because otherwise it's just all about you. So that was an eye-opener to me. And she said, challenges are opportunities. And her husband will always say, when he hits a challenge, he'll say, this is a challenge. So here's where I am. Here's where I want to be. And how do I get there? How do I get, to where I want to be? And so each time he hit a roadblock, like he became national marketing director this year, so there were a lot of roadblocks, a lot of valleys, a lot of things that fell off. But instead of giving up or anything, he just always went through those steps. And he wouldn't say, oh no, this is the worst day of my life. He would just label it as, okay, so we've got a challenge. Here's where I am, but here's where I want to be. And what's the next step? How am I going to get there? And I thought that was so smart. Instead of freaking out about things, just label it as a challenge. And challenges are opportunities. So if you start clicking in your brain right away, oh, I got a challenge, but this is an opportunity to growth. This is an opportunity to learn a different way. And then her number 10 was consistency creates miracles. She says, always move forward every day so that you can go to bed feeling proud. So I love that. And then she had this cool illustration that she put up on the screen. It was just like you could just even draw it yourself, just like the shape of a cup, with like you know how to draw a cup. And then she said, start thinking about what fills your cup and write those things in the cup. Write all the things, what things fill your cup, and then do them. Because she says that way you hold tight to your passions and you're doing the things you love. So isn't that a cool illustration? Maybe that's what I'll have to come out with next, is we'll draw a cup. Wouldn't that be fun to see everybody's cups? Or maybe we start with an empty cup, and each week we could talk about things that we put in our cup. What did we do that week that filled our cup? And it might be as simple as going out and enjoying a walk in the fall leaves, right? Or it could be, anything. So, all right. Do you want to take a breath? Do you want to say anything? I'll go on to the next speaker. I know I'm going really fast, but those were good nuggets to start with, huh? Good stuff. And Lisa Radesi is a wonderful trainer. If you ever go to campbellteam.net, you can go onto those Monday night trainings and search for a Lisa Radesi training. I think she always does a good job. She was a former teacher too. So then we're going to go, I'm just going to wait for a second. Did anybody have a question or need me to go back to anything, or anything you want to share that resonated with you along the way? Everybody's just like, move on, Susie, go to the next speaker. Okay, well, if you do, we'll do this again at the end. So if you start going, oh, I meant to ask this, that's okay, we'll ask at the end. Okay, Karen Fowler rocked my boat. She's another PMD plus, and she trained on, are you treating your business like a business? And wow, I'm really lacking in a lot of these areas. So this excites me to go back. And I know this, Jake doesn't know any of this because she's hearing it along with you, but as a cue on you'll be turning to us for some of these things. Actually, I think Jake's better at this than me. But she says, when you look at your team, so whether you have nobody on your team, think about this, still jot these down because this is what you're going to want to know. Or you might have one person on your team, or maybe you have 27 people on your team, doesn't matter. But do you know their goal? Not their goal they told you 5 years ago, not the goal they told you 2 years ago or 6 months ago, but do you know their goal that they're working on right now? Do you know their why? Why are they doing the business? And are they written down? She says, pick that goal and make sure they write it down. Doesn't have to be a list of goals. What's the main goal? Their team usually does paycheck goals, because she said that's something that is very concrete, that they can look at, either a paycheck or a title reward goal. And they write that down, and she has them put it in their bathroom or on their refrigerator or whatever. They're going to see it every day. So it's not just a lovely little meeting that you have with your sponsor or with me. It's something real. And then what she does is she asks her partners, how much money will make you smile? And is that the goal? So she says, a really good concrete goal we can give people is, if they want to make $350 a month, then you basically are a qualified QSC. And so what she does is she will put in her phone. So anytime I would call you, your name would pop up. And so Pam, I'll use you. You're right here in my visual field. So if Pam told me, yeah, if I had an extra $350 a month, that would definitely make me smile. then in Pam's context next to her name, I'm going to put $350 or $350 QSCPB. You can put it however you want. And she said that way, anytime that person calls you or you call them, you're not rummaging through like, what was the last goal we talked about? You've got it right there on the phone. And then for you, Pam, I'm going to use you again. She says, go in and change all of your passwords that you use on your computer. If you want to be a QSCPB, right now you're probably like, I don't even know what that is, Susie, but we would give this to you. You could be QSCPB 350 or even $350. And so every time you're going into your passwords, you're telling your brain what your next goal is, right? Because it's just letters and numbers. It could be symbols. And so I thought that was a really cool way to keep it at the forefront of our minds. You know, that, hey, I did say this is what I want. So isn't that cool? I'm going to get her goal worksheet from her. So I've got that in my notes. And then she gave a big long list of 14 things to do to set your partner up for success. And so even if you're brand new, I would recommend doing this because these are steps you can even go through for yourself. Because honestly, you know, I haven't been setting people up for success in my last year or two. I haven't been doing these things. I'm just going to be transparent and honest that way. So, but isn't it exciting? It doesn't matter what's in the past. It's where we're going forward, and we can do this now. So I'd recommend all of these for each of you. And then when you do these steps, you're going to be able to turn around and help other people, and that you always have support. Don't ever feel like, oh, I got to do all this by myself. No, of course you're going to have a support person with you. But number one, she says, is get their goal. You're going to know their why. Just try to figure out also, are they an action person? Do they need a blueprint? Do they need nurturing? You know, what kind of turns their crank? Find out what drives them and inspires them. How do they like to communicate? Are they a Voxer? Do they want to call you every day? What time of the day, you know, they like doing calls in the evening, in the morning? What makes them feel appreciated? All of these things you find out with this person when you're with their goal, so that along the way, you're able to support them in the way that they receive support. Because she said she had one mom that was super busy with 5 kids, and for Karen, her main time, she took this block of time in the afternoon. So she kept calling this gal like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And finally the gal's like, don't call me at 3 o'clock. I'm trying to pick up all my kids from school. You know, I can't think about this. So don't always make it about your schedule. Find out about them. Number 2 is, she says, you have to get them connected. They need a welcome call. They need to be on team Zooms. She says, immediately look at what is the next conference or boot camp. Like, they need to see, if you guys were all with me this weekend at this, your cups would be so full, you would not be able to help but go out. And I'll tell you a story in a little bit about what happened to me on the way home, of sharing Juice Plus. And she says, because there's nothing like the Juice Plus family. There's nothing like it. And so we need to get people immediately thinking of what's the next thing that they can attend, where they're going to actually be around our community. And then she says, number 3 is have conversations. Tell them, you bring the people and I'll bring the conversations. So you can have a grand opening Zoom, but she said you need to get in front of their people immediately. And so often I feel like we give them, well, here's some verbiage, here's some ideas or whatever, but they don't have a real story. They don't have an experience with that. So bring them. And if you're saying, oh, I don't have any conversations, then look at the next person up that would help you with those conversations. But don't put them out there all by themselves. Okay. Even if you're at Walmart and they sign you up to run the cash register, you don't just say, there's your cash register, right? You would be with them. There's a whole method. Number 4, we're going to hear it again, get a buddy. And they said the buddy might be your sponsor. It could be a sideline, but you need a buddy. Number 5 is, are you staying connected yourself? Whether it be on Voxer, Karen has like her main group of people that are working. They talk to each other on the phone every single day. And those are like her main 5 people that are going for goals. So those of you with bigger teams, you might want to think about that. It doesn't have to be a big long call. We've heard Lauren LaHave does this to this day with Cheryl Cortese, where they check in the beginning, they check in the end, they got that support. It's always on their minds of talking, how did they move forward? So if you're a person right now that you're saying you really want to move forward, you should let your sponsor, your upline know, I want to be one of those people and I'm going to do this, because then we can support you in that way. Number 6, are you focusing on the money-making activities, those IPAs that we talk about? Number 7, how many conversations are you having? Karen's a very bold and blunt person. So she says, yeah, if my team calls me and is saying, oh, my business is just not going anywhere, I say, how many people did you talk to about the business today? Well, no, I didn't really talk to anybody. Well, how many people did you talk about the business yesterday? Well, no, none really. Okay, how many the day before? Well, it didn't work out this week. It's just, do you see a pattern here? But sometimes we need those ideas that we're complaining, my business isn't going anywhere, but I've had 5 conversations this week and none of them did I talk about the business, and one I talked about the product. Well, I mean, it does make sense. Number 8, she says, do you touch your business every day? Consistency. We hear this every time. She also said, are you inviting successful people to your team, or are you building an orphanage? She says, are you looking for happy people? What does your ideal customer look like? What does your ideal teammate look like? Because she says, sometimes we don't go for those people because maybe we're not feeling happy enough or we're not feeling successful enough, but the system will speak for itself. And then you plug them into the community and just, you don't know, they might already so admire you or what, but it doesn't matter, because then you've plugged them into a community. They're going to find those people that they connect with. So she said, definitely look for successful people. Don't be shy with them or feel like you're not enough. You are enough, and you've got something they don't have. You have the Juice Plus business, and you have the connection and the Juice Plus family. Do you provide A+ customer care? And she said every single month she prints her customer genealogy, and then she gets her highlighter out, and that she connects with every single one of her customers in some way every single month. So as soon as she makes a connection, a personal connection, not just big, she likes to check in. She's big about being on the phone. Just to, even if they can hear her voice or excitement, and you could still send a text out, but then follow it up with a quick phone call or whatever you need to do. But as she connects with a customer, then she highlights their name. And by the end of the month, she wants to see that whole customer sheet all highlighted so that she knows she provided A+ customer care. And if you ever look at that and say, oh, but I wouldn't know what to say, you guys, you don't need to say everything at one time. Maybe we're just checking in, but it's to make sure maybe we're telling them about the latest product. Maybe we're telling them about we have a new campaign going every month in our Ignite Your Health group. We want to just make sure that they're plugged in. And then you can even go back after you talk to them and tag them on a post, hey, here's the thanks and planks, here's the plank post that I was talking to you about on the phone. There's been some really good stuff in there, so check it out. And number 10 was, do you ask good questions? And those kind of questions, whether you're dealing, maybe somebody's just telling you all their, health problems, or they're telling you their financial problems, she'll ask things like, where are you going to be in 3 to 5 years? If you just keep going down this path. and she says, ask these kind of questions that are open, so it's more like their idea, instead of how many fruits and vegetables do you eat every day? You know, that's like an interrogation. That's not open-ended. She will ask questions if she knows somebody. Like another example she gave was, she knows somebody who works out regularly. Maybe it's just a stay-at-home mom that is working out regularly 3 times a week, right? Or maybe you know somebody that is a big workout person. But anybody who works out, she will ask them, you know, what shake do you drink for muscle recovery? See, it's just kind of open-ended. It's not saying, oh, you got to drink my shake, or my shake does this. Ask the open question, what shake do you drink for muscle recovery? And they might sit there and even go, not even thinking of their shake for muscle recovery. So it opens up a great question. Number 11, she says, do you do 3-way calls? And she said all this other stuff that everybody is talking, she's a really big time NMD, PMD plus, way. She's right under Chris Strobes. And she said, she has many NMDs under her. She said the only thing that she and her team do, she says, I know everybody's talking about all this fancy, technical stuff and social media and all these things. She says, I see the value in that, but I'll tell you right now, even to this day, the thing that has worked for us are 3-way calls and events. She says, that's the way I built my whole entire, she says, if you look at this event today, she says, I will always go to an event and Chris will look in the room and say, how many of these people are yours? And I'll say 21, 27. She says, I start building for the event. And Leanne Gordon was telling us the same thing. She will be at an event and she'll go off during break and just start calling everybody that's not at the event saying, you just got to write me a check right now. You got to be here next year. This is phenomenal. This is for you. Send me a check right now. And I'm going to make sure that you've got a spot when this opens up. So I thought that was interesting. But on the 3-way calls, she said she does an introduction. So she does hers with Chris Strobes, and she'll do an introduction to Chris and build up and edify Chris. And she's already talked to Chris about what she loves, likes, or adores about her person. And then she says she hits mute. She says, I know I'm a PMD plus, right? I could say all these things, but they don't need to hear it from me. I hit mute. And she says, then I listen. And she says, and then they sign up. And she says, when she first started, that's all she would do, is she would just do an introduction, put herself on mute, listen to the call, sign the person up. And then she says, wow, I'm really good at doing this business. And she says, and that's all I had to do. But she said, let me see this. Oh, because she says the whole conversation is they just talk. Chris is asking questions to find out what their needs are. And then she shows them how Juice Plus, they do business, can be the solution to what that person wants. And then when they get off the phone, it's easy to say, did you just see how I did the business? That's how you can do the business. You're just going to, bring people to the phone and sign and mute and put them in front of me, or put them in front of that person or whatever. It's just, the main thing is you just have to do that. So number 12 was, would you follow you? And she says, your number one characteristic is confidence, and that you can lean on your upline to help you be confident. But people follow you when they realize that when they realize their problem, and you get them to admit their problem, and then they understand that you can help them with their problem. Does that make sense? Through talking to you or through whoever you connect them with, they're going to realize what their problem is. And so we can even voice that back to them, oh, so you're telling me that it's really stressful when you go to pay your bills. You're kind of having to pick, which bill do I pay for this month? And if they're going, yeah, that's it. You know, what if I could help you with a solution of that? So where was I? She said, if you think it's kind of funny or cute or whatever to appear like a hot mess, or you are a hot mess, she says, nobody really wants to follow a hot mess. So she says, be careful of that, yes, we want to be transparent and no, you don't have to be perfect. But they had a woman on her team that she ended up just fading away eventually. And she said she would be a hot mess on the Zoom. She said it was so distracting, like everything in back of her in her home was a total hot mess. And so they said, make sure, you know, even if you're not feeling super confident, bring that you are confident in connecting them with people, you are confident in the system, those kinds of things. And you can say, I don't have all the answers, but if you want people to follow you, you can't be a hot mess. You got to step it up. 13, she says, do you expect success? Because your mindset is everything. And 14 was, what is your level of desire? If you had to say on a scale from 0 to 10 right now, how much do you desire more success in your business, whatever that is to you? For somebody, the success can be $500 a month. For somebody else, it's going to be $5,000 a month or more or less, whatever it is. How much do you really desire that? And then really think, how would that feel? So if you're telling me you have a desire to have $500 a month, what would that really feel like if you had it not just one month, but every month? What would that feel like? And then what are you willing to do to get there? Because you can feel it all you want. And then she says, you know, you got to work on that. If somebody tells you they want $5,000 a month and they want it within 60 days, that's not going to be realistic. So work with that in between. And then of course, we've heard this before. She says, when you're attracting a teammate, you're looking for them to have a burning desire to be successful. They must be teachable, and their work ethic is so important. They can talk all they want, but if they're not going to work, they're not going to move forward. So that's all. Do you guys want me to do one more, or do you want me to save it? I have Wendy. Well, I've got 2 more. I can save it for next week. I don't want to overload your brains where you're just like, oh, that was nice. And we take our notes and then we go on our way. Why don't we just talk about what do we have so far and pick, if you could pick even one of these nuggets from one of these top trainers, what are you going to take home with you today and act on? Look through your notes.
Yeah, I was going to say, Susie, this is very timely for me. I'm really grateful. I just had a conversation with a health insurance client, and she was talking about, you know, needing a side gig, and, you know, she used to be a graphic designer, and how much it was going to cost her and all this stuff. And I said, well, you know, do you remember what I do for my side gig? She was like, yeah, isn't it those like capsules and gummies? And I said, yep. And there's very low, you know, threshold for investment. So I got her head around it and sent her some videos and things. So, but I think it was very good about just the follow-up. Everything's in the follow-up and finding out their why and what they want. And I love the idea of putting that on my phone, like what I want to get to Q qualified. Because yeah, $350 a month would be great. So I need that for me. And then that's something duplicatable that you can just give to her, because that's all she needs too. And lots of great nuggets today. It'd be hard to dial in on one. I actually have to get ready to go to my next meeting. So I just wanted to pipe up real quick, but I really appreciate you sharing everything. I would love to watch the tape version again. just to kind of get the energy again. Yeah, so that helped me for the person that I'm going to follow up with today.
Awesome. And thanks for sharing. So, let me tell you my story really quick before you leave. So you got this. I came out of this and I had all this energy. I was exhausted though at the same time. So I stopped at Chili's to just get my lunch. And I actually had earpods in and I was listening to this book on tape and just kind of zoning out. And I'd leaned back like this and I put my feet up on the chair in front of me. And I was just kind of listening to stuff. But I knew I came in there with an energy. And so my waitress came over, this was toward the end of my meal. And she said, wow, you are so cute. This is a young woman in college. You are so cute and so chill. It looks like you just had an amazing weekend. Like, what do you do? Tell me I didn't just bring that energy in there, right? And I said, oh, I did. I just came off a phenomenal weekend. I'm with a health and wellness business. And I said, what do you like to do? And she says, really? Well, I'm going to school. I'm in my 3rd year and I want to be a PA and blah, blah, blah. And I said, we are looking for people just like you to partner with in our business. And she put her information in my phone right away. She texted me again before I got home and says, Miss Susie, be sure and send me, those videos. So I sent it to her and everything last night. But that's what doing to an event, because I was so tired, but I was still bringing it. I still had some kind of energy going off. Isn't that a cool story? And I won't even tell you what I was eating. So I actually prefaced that with, don't judge me, but I'm with a health and wellness company. So let's go to more nuggets. Lisa, thank you so much for sharing, and we'll keep supporting you in that.
I'll have that recording later today, Lisa, for you.
Thanks, Jake.
I'll share mine. Susie, this was great. And I like the minute with Maxwell that, if you quit in the middle, you won't see the end. Yeah. And I feel that's where I am now, because I've been with the company for so many years that started betting.
Good, Ruth. I love that.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
That's okay. Any more nuggets? I know there's lots of nuggets. Do share.
I was going to say, I was kind of like Ruth, that Maxwell, that really caught me. That was definitely something that hit me. Tears always come to my eyes when I hear "don't quit." It's just that every time I hear that, it's like it's talking to me. The other thing is mastering your schedule. I haven't done a good job with that, and I know that I need to do that. I need to master the schedule. I need to figure out and just set times. Like Monday mornings, everybody knows, don't talk to me on Monday mornings. I've got people calling me and it's like, I'll talk to you later. And so Monday mornings, most people know, but the rest of the week they don't. So I need to schedule a time every single day that people don't bother me and I just do my job.
And I love that, because you are really consistent with coming on Monday morning, Sheila. So think about that. You could be just as consistent with setting up other appointments with yourself. That's awesome. Who else has a nugget to share?
I'm with Sheila. It's a matter of master my schedule. And I just kind of like that. What days are you open for business? And so that I actually plug in specific times and just nobody gets that time. I also like consistency creates miracles, because we've been to enough trainings, we've been to even the Juice Plus events, and that consistency is always something that they talk about.
You bet, absolutely. And I really encourage everybody, pull out your 15-minute forms, because remember, even if you do 15 minutes a day, you just got to touch your business every day, because once you get started, chances are you're not going to do just one 15-minute block. right? You're going to do another 15-minute block and another 15-minute block, especially when you have enough people you're connecting with that they start talking back to you. Then you'll end up doing another 15-minute block following up. It will really help you create consistency, whether you're going for the big goal of completing all 40 blocks each week, or just showing yourself, hey, I know I can at least do 1 block, 2 blocks, 6 blocks, whatever you set each day. It's just really, I would encourage you, print that off, count how many weeks till the end of the year, and do it till the end of the year, and tell me if your business doesn't change. Who else can share today?
Well, I kind of, hello.
Hello.
Gosh, where was it? Basically, I kind of liked how much money, a lot of people are like, always like, how much money you want to make. And that's money, yes, I want money, but I feel like when she changed it to how many people do you want to help, that just changes the mindset more for me than the actual money. Yes, I want the money, but I feel I like the people versus the money situation, but it's going to get you to that same goal, so.
And if you think about that, Sonia, then when you sit down to assess where you're at, if you're not looking at the money goal, then you need to look at how many customers do I have right now? How many teammates do I have right now? How many total customers do we serve? And that way you can start tracking, are those numbers going up each month? And then you'll know, are you meeting that goal of really helping more people? Because that way you're helping some people with business and you're helping some people with customers. So thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I thought that would be a good one for several people are like Lisa Radisi, where they were just wanting to help people. So thanks for bringing that up again.
Oh, I also like the caring versus knowing too, growing your belief, because, I know a lot, but yet I feel, I that fear, doubt, and insecurities is like, I don't quite know enough, but I care plenty.
Absolutely.
Hey, gang, this is Mary Ellen. Hey, Sandra and I are in a coffee shop, so she's kind of got herself off screen because we have this giant bright window behind us, but we're in a brand new downtown millwork coffee shop we wanted to check out. So this is kind of fun. We're going to try to do something every week at an interesting new place. So we're having fun with this today. What I got, several things, but I like the cup idea. I'm very visual, and I really like the idea of drawing a cup and then putting down, what do I want to fill? What fills me up? Because, I need to connect with that. What fills me up? I don't even know. So I think I know, but I don't really know. So there's a lot of things like that. Really help. Oh, sorry, I muted myself. Filling my cup up and drawing a visual of it and putting things in my cup. I really love that visual idea, because I learned that I don't know consciously what fills me up. I know unconsciously, I know what it is, but I don't know it consciously. So I need to pull that out of my subconscious by this visual practice. So I'm totally doing that.
I'm so glad you said that, Mary Ellen, because there was a part of me that had that same feeling, like, I think this fills my cup, but does it? So I feel like as I start putting those things in my cup and doing them, I'm going to have a feeling. Then I'm really going to, you know what I mean? We're going to get to know ourselves more, and it's going to help us keep our cups filled more. So very
Good
cool.
job.
And I love that you girls are meeting together in fun place each week. That's all part of this. And go have fun with your business. Oh, so fun.
And Sandra, and show herself, but we are both wearing matching sweaters. Look at that.
Look at you.
We'd like to say we planned it, but we did not. Isn't that great?
That's great. I love it. I'm glad you showed us. Oh, well, you girls are doing great. Who else has a nugget? We'll take a couple of more here.
I've been waiting. if anybody else wants to share, because I got like tons of stuff out of this. Okay.
Give us your top nugget.
Oh my gosh. Well, there were so many. I was thinking, I've got lots of notes and so many of these things that I can use to help to guide and coach my own people that I'm excited about. There were a number of things in the questions that I'm asking. Make sure that I'm asking those questions that's really drawing out. And I love, like Sonia said, because I do have people that say, I just want to help people. And they don't really have their head wrapped around a monetary amount. So I love that idea of identifying how many people and when, how soon do you want to help them? One of the things that I noticed that there was kind of a theme in Karen Fowler's, her suggestions, her list, and it all goes back to communication, conversations. And I've been really getting into this ditch the pitch, and I am loving it. And it is totally changing my energy. And I feel like I'm like this conversation magnet. People are sharing things with me that they've never opened up before. But there were several things, like she talked about, there was one about asking questions. If you're not sure what questions to ask, you got to be a part of that Ditch the Pitch community. There are all kinds of really great suggestions in there. And then in the videos, we talked about, I went to one last week. They were talking about how to bring Juice Plus into the conversation at the right time. And they talked about how to do that, with your verbiage. And so if you're not sure how to do that, you got to watch those things. I'm currently making a list of questions that we can ask, and I'll share that when I've got it, because I want this list of questions. There's sometimes that I can't think of the right thing to say, and so I want to have a list of questions. One thing I do want to make sure that I do a pretty good job of doing my customer care, but I really want that A+ communication, and I've been working on it, but I really do. This isn't the first time I've heard of reaching out to every customer every month. That's a lot. That's going to be challenging because I got a lot of customers, but I love the idea of just reaching out. And I don't think we have to reach out and tell them anything. I think just reaching out and just seeing how they are, people really want to be heard. And one of the things that I've noticed here lately, since really learning how to be quiet and listening, is that people don't ask much about you. They talk about themselves. I've really started noticing that. But how often do we really stop to ask? I don't think I really ever did before too much. I mean, I did to some extent. So yeah, anyway, I don't know. I kind of am all over the place, but I'm all excited. Everything that I got really excited about was the communication and the conversation. And I think that that's because that's where I'm at right now with Ditch the Pitch.
And I feel like the Ditch the Pitch went through my mind even when I met this waitress, because she was asking me about my weekend. So I put like one statement, but then I immediately turned it back on her. And then we ended up talking all about, she's from Michigan. She got a full ride scholarship. She has this, her sister's doing that. We had this whole conversation about, just her. So it was really fun.
I was going to say, I'm really proud of you for that, because you gave her, it was like you let her sip from a water fountain rather than turning on the fire hose, because I've been so guilty in the past of just cranking up that fire hose and blasting them, because you had the opportunity, but you didn't. What question did you ask her?
She'd asked me about my weekend, and and I was saying what I did, and I said, what do you like to do? What do you do outside of, what do you do outside of work in here? And then she started telling me all about going to school. So we'll take one more. I know we're a little past our time, but is there anybody else? It's so good to hear things back, because you're going to hear this over and over again. I'd read through these notes every day. It's good reminder. We have anybody, one last person want to share? Sharing is caring. That's what my granddaughter tells me all the time when she wants something that I have. No more nuggets?
Judy, did you raise your hand or was that the, oh, that must have been the fan. Sorry.
I didn't raise my hand, but I've been thinking about something here, and that so many have already touched on what touched me as well. But something that sticks out to me is what I follow. Would you follow you? And I think to myself, probably not. You know, am I confident? Am I really? I've been so out of touch that I guess I'm not a very good leader right now. So that got me thinking for sure.
But isn't it cool? I like how she said, we don't even have to have that. We can still build on that belief and that confidence. We just have to have the confidence to put somebody in front of somebody else, you know, on the team that might have that a little more than you right now. And then that will build your confidence, and all you have to do is connect them and hit mute. I love that. I mean, it's like an easy button, right? So fun. All right, ladies. Well, we're going to make it a great week. I really hope you use your 15-minute form, because I think it's such a good accountability that, are you treating this like a business? Are you open for hours? How many hours are you open each week? It will be very evident on your form how many hours you were open this week. And then, you know, just keep reviewing it. What can you do to meet your goals the next week? What did you do well? Celebrate that, and just keep getting better each week. So, all right, well, we'll be in touch, because I would like to see people's goals and have them written down. And I want to know where each of you are. So be thinking about that. I know I have to put a little thought into that myself too. So, all right. Well,
I want to just share really quick some events this week that we've got going on here. Every Thursday we do a Vibrant Healthy Living Unscripted. We have one at 1:15 Central to about 1:45. And then again at 7:30 Central to about 8 o'clock. And basically what we do is you invite your people to the call, come to the call with them. And then as we get to know what people's needs are, we weave the conversation around their needs. We're totally ditching the pitch. It's fun. We're really reaching people, and you just never know what we're going to talk about. And we are going to start featuring different people that will share their story. And so I will start getting those flyers out. I've got the flyer that we'll use this week. I don't know if I don't have a guest speaker lined up. Doesn't mean that I won't have one by the end of the day, but I will get a flyer out. You can use the one that I've been sharing in Team Ignite Voxer. And then on Friday, there is a Ditch the Pitch live stream at noon Central. If you want to get signed up for that. And if you haven't watched any of the Ditch the Pitch stuff yet, go onto your new Juice Plus website, juiceplus.com, sign in as a partner, and then go to your resources tab. It's just under your name, and click on the hub. Okay. And under the hub, you can click on all the Ditch the Pitch resources that are available to you, whether you are signed up for the course or not. And the course is only like $125. But if that's not in your budget at the moment or in your time frame, then just take in all the other, there's lots of really great information. And if you're not part of the Ditch the Pitch page yet, I encourage you to go for it. There's still, there's $2,500 worth of money that's available to win through the 100 conversations. There's still a whole lot of Ditch the Pitch journals that are available. Bobby is going to receive one because she got her first 100 turned in.
Oh,
yay, Bobby! She's not on the call right now, but so that's exciting. And anyway, it's just been a lot of fun, and it's completely changing the way that I'm talking to people, and people are loving it. So,
yeah, I really encourage you all, just take one of those events on Thursday for like the next several Thursdays. Just put it in your planner so that you know you're building for that each week. And then also I did just send out the dates. It's every Friday at noon Central for the Ditch the Pitch. You know, I would just put all those on your planner so you're not waiting to be reminded each Monday and going, oh, now I didn't work towards that. Okay, I got to hop off, but thank you everybody sharing your nuggets and being here today, and we'll just keep doing good in this world. It's a crazy world. They need us out there. So
yeah, thanks Susie for sharing all your nuggets and your enthusiasm.
Yep, I'll be back with more nuggets next week from
awesome.
PMD pluses. So
looking forward to it.
Susie, I'm excited to see your presentation. You got me.
I'll be doing that too. Yeah, absolutely. And wait till you see the PowerPoint. You'll love yourselves.
All right. Awesome. Well, if you're, my team usually does a hangout afterwards, and anybody's welcome to stay and hang out. We just chat for a bit.
You're still recording, Jake.
Oh,